Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Happy Saturday where it's Saturday. Happy good morning, good day, good evening, however it fits. Welcome to Dan RadioStyle. Got a great show planned today, by the way. I think it's an awesome analogy. A lot of us have a hard time, right? Like that whole, we're going to manifest, right? This thing, right? I have it right now. And then, you know, a second later when you're done saying I have it right now and feeling and experiencing it, where you do at that moment have it right now. We have this whole problem, right? We have this whole problem where we have to then live life without that thing, right? We have to wait until it happens. So how do we think about it? A lot of us, I think, screw around with words. What kind of words to use, right? Don't say it's you're waiting for it. Don't say it's in the future. It'll happen, right? There's all these different concepts. And again, words aren't so much the issue as much as the concepts behind them or what you mean, right? But I think this analogy kind of helps, and I think it helps for a lot of us that are going to, like, how can I see this process, this allowing? How can I see this in a better way that makes it easier? Because I would say, from the standpoint, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up here, but from like love, relationships, because they're somewhat complex as two people co-creating together. And then you got the idea of, like, I think jobs and income, right, are another one where stuff happens, right? Like you can say, I'm going to manifest. You could win the lotto. A lot of us are going down that path, but there's other, you know, we're like, how can I make a more successful business? How can I increase my YouTube channel? How can I, right? Like there's a lot of things that many of us are attempting to grow and develop. And so through this whole process, that's the evolution. So I like to liken it to cooking. I know a lot of you hopefully are okay with that, but I love to cook and I enjoy eating. It's fun for me, and I know some of us maybe are dieting or maybe aren't, but it's something that all of us have to do to one degree, right? And manifesting to me is a creation process. It is creation, and I think cooking is too. In my mind, they're absolutely equals. It's almost apples to apples kind of comparison. A lot of us are trying to create something that doesn't currently exist. Your dinner tonight doesn't currently exist. Maybe you're going to have meatloaf. Maybe you're going to have stew. Maybe you're going to have goulash. It hasn't been created yet. Maybe it has. Maybe you're making it right now and you're like listening to us, and I think that's rad. Anyone that is, please chime in and say, yeah, I'm cooking right now. That'd be awesome. But the manifestation process is multifold, and really what it's meant to do, I think, is ultimately get us to the last stage, which is allowing, essentially. Much like cooking, and I'll try to cover this analogy. I don't want to bury the lead too much, but to a point I do. So I see a lot of the thinking about, first off, what do I want? Like a lot of us, some of us, don't know what we want. Do we want a specific person? Do we want love in general? Maybe we're tired of the person that we've been chasing after and we're like, screw it. They're not that great anyway. Or as I've joked, for those of you that like watch a lot of my videos, you know, they're the tow truck driver, right? Like, you know, and if you got a thing for tow truck drivers, good on you. But maybe you want the Wall Street guy, or maybe you want the guy that's the head of some corporation, or maybe you want that engineering, intuitive, what's the word? Doesn't matter. The guy that's creating new products, new software, whatever the heck. You liked it. I want to say the word and I can't. It's on the tip of my brain. Prepping is that thinking. What do I want? It's imagining. And see, a lot of the times people say, I don't know what I want, blah, blah, blah. And when I'm coaching, I kind of say things along the lines of, hey, what do you want to experience? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And it seems weird to some people, right? You're like, why would I want to talk about it? But what it does is it forces us to think about what we actually want. It forces us, especially, to say it out loud and hear ourselves say what we actually want. So this is actually a giant step. And a lot of us, I think, sort of underestimate. We might be very focused on someone specific. We might be very focused on a particular job. When in reality, and I'm not saying with a specific person, but in reality, sometimes it's larger than that. And the specific person, too, can grow and develop into huge things. Maybe we just want to have a relationship. Maybe we're looking for a boyfriend, girlfriend, but what about the idea of maybe one day, you know, having a family, or maybe one day, or spending eons together. Even the whole idea of marriage is something I think that's kind of changing with the generations these days. But the idea of spending an extended period of time together, hanging out, being friends, having fun, whatever that means. Making water balloons and stuff, I'm sure. Of course, that's all it is. So the prep is getting a lot of that. And we get into the words, the thoughts, the imagining process of what it is that we want. So that's the prepping, right? That's you're chopping your onions to make your meatloaf, right? You're grinding it all up, get some breadcrumbs and some liquid and egg. Just because meatloaf sounds really good right now, even though it's not what I'm making for dinner. Should have done differently. That being said, but the mixing, right? So you got pop, you got to prep everything, you got to get it ready. And you throw it into a bowl. Now this is an important part, the combining of ingredients, right? If you're going to make anything, meatloaf, cake, right? Anything you're going to make, at some point after the prep, you've got your flour, you've got your egg, you've got your whatever, your vanilla, making a cake, just trying to throw some ingredients up top of my head like, I don't really ever bake. You're doing all this work. Now you got to combine it. The combining is really when we get to the point of the feeling as though, right? That's when we're doing the techniques. That's the combining. What we're doing is we're taking, all right, here's the thing. Here's my desire. Here's what I want. Here's my prep. Pop, 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 right? Grab it all together into a bowl. Get ready to mix it. That's the feeling as though I have it. That's the I have it right now. That's the I feel as though I'm living in the end. I'm doing all those techniques. Whatever your thing is, 55 times 5, the cups method, the auto writing. I'm not doing well. There's a bunch of them, right? So many techniques. The mirror technique, which I, by the way, brought up recently. I'll probably link at some point. It's an amazing technique. Looking at your mirror and self in the mirror and saying, I love you, you are the best, you are amazing, you are fantastic, you are special. Whatever your thing is that you're having a challenge with. It's a great video. I'll link it. So the combining is putting all these things together, feeling as though, putting yourselves, doing the techniques. All of us know the techniques. Half of the people that are typing right now, you guys know the techniques better than anybody. You guys are masterfully known to the techniques. We do them until we're blind, but then what happens? We've combined all the ingredients. Then what happens is we invariably doubt. We invariably get to a point where we're like, I don't think this is working. I'm not seeing things happen. I stopped seeing signs. This isn't happening. That's not happening. Now they're dating another person. What the frick am I doing wrong? When again, that could be part of the process. So many of us look at the physical world and decide what's actually it's like looking at today and saying this is exactly what 7 days from today is going to look like, right? That's not fair and really shouldn't happen. I should never look at today and go, yeah, 7 days from now is going to be exactly like this. It was like, really? Like, you have no imagination. You are not living on the edge at all. You are definitely needing to expand your bubble. Something needs to happen to shake you up, just to get you to think bigger. Like, maybe I should buy a gumball machine. Yes, now you're making steps in the right direction. Something crazy and radical. For this example of this person that's very boring and bland. Can you imagine a gumball machine, all the colors? And chewing, and it's annoying. You gotta spit it out because it's gross and your jaw hurts. Oh, it's so much fun. So we've combined all the ingredients. We feel everything. Everything's groovy. I got it. Now what? How do I get through the day? How do I think about my manifestation as though I've got it right now? Okay, I've got it already. Awesome. What the hell does that mean? You have it right now. Come on. You have it. But you're like looking at me going, Dan, I don't know if you've noticed this, but he's not in the room right now with me. So, you're full of it. Now, one, he could be at work. So that's true. Two, you're right. I mean, you're right. That's the point. The art of allowing is the allowing process. It's like a blooming concept with a flower, certainly another analogy that I've talked about before. But in the cooking standpoint, it's when you put the thing in the oven. It's when you start cooking it. And we all know if you mess with the cooking process, you screw up the goods. If I'm baking a cake and I keep opening it to look at it, is it done yet? Is it done yet? Is it done yet? You ruin the cake. It's not going to happen. It's not going to cook right. It's going to be weird in the middle. It's going to be oddly cooked on the outside. It's going to be dry, right? You're going to screw it up in so many different ways. In the case of meat, if you're sitting there flipping it around, well, you're killing it. All the juices, if you start poking it with stuff, because I'm not sure if it's good, so I'm going to cut through it, and all the juices come out, you ruin it. When ultimately what it comes into is you either A, set the oven, you know what it's going to be, boom, 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 put the foil, don't put the foil, open it up, shove it in the oven, close the door, and forget about it. Do you question the fact that your dinner's going to be ready in 45 minutes? You're making meatloaf, right? maybe a little long, right around there. Or a cake at 30, 40 minutes. Or maybe you're grilling, 4 minutes aside, 6 minutes aside. It's got a specific amount of time. It's got an amount of time it's going to need to unfold. Is it happening? Sure. Do you have it already? Yeah, I guess. 6 minutes from now. Again, we live in a space-time concept. We live in a place where moments happen. We live in a world where, first off, manifestation doesn't happen instantly for most of us because most of us can't control our thoughts. We would wish people dead and then we'd feel bad, right? Because you'd instantly manifest and they'd drop dead and you'd be like, oh, I did not mean to do that. I've gone through 6 friends this week doing that. And that's not going to help, right? So we've got to figure out a way to deal with the fact that moments happen, however many, between the moment of feeling as though the wish is fulfilled and actually really combining the ingredients and saying, all right, universe, here's my dinner, here's my cake, here's my meat that I'm throwing on the grill. Here it is. And then you place it in the allowing vessel, oven, grill, solar cooker, brick oven, the sun, I don't know, steamer. There's a good one, right? You put it in there. Rice cooker, because I got one. Those are so rad. Anyway, you put it in there, you let it go, you shut the door, boom. When the light turns green on the rice cooker, it's ready. When the beeper starts going, deet, 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 it's like, then awesome. It's time to eat. If I've got to flip it, then 4 minutes into it, deet, 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 I'll get, maybe something will happen. Maybe a reaction moment will happen with me and my specific person. Maybe we'll bump into each other and I'll need to say something like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow night? You want to get some coffee? Right? Like maybe you come up with something where you've got to interact. Because right now you got to flip the meat over. That's what you're cooking. So it's going to require a little action. And then you give it another 4 minutes, shut the thing, walk away. Know what's happening. Is it right now? Yes. Is it happening? Yes. Is it in process? Yes. Is it going to? I mean, if you think about it, like you can use any number of words as long as you understand that the moment you open the oven and pull the food out, it's done. So is your manifestation. It's like a bun in the oven. Sorry, just funny little analogy popped into my head, right? That's a 9-month cooking process, but still, right? It's a process. Flowers unfold for a reason. It's beautiful. It's an unfoldment. I thought about the last analogy before I close out and then start taking some questions from everybody. It's like the idea of a YouTube channel to me. If I just instantly started a YouTube channel and had like 1 billion subscribers, like a lot of people would be like, that's awesome, that's what you do it for. And I'd be like, not really. For me, it's the growing, it's the developing, it's the time I put into coming up with something that hopefully is a good topic that people might enjoy and maybe putting together a decent show that they'll actually listen to. Now, I do it as good as I do, and I'm working on getting better, but whatever the case is, with time, things progress. You get better at stuff as you do it longer. You grow into the audience that you create, and it teaches you to kind of learn through that process. So just because something doesn't instantly happen doesn't mean it's not going to, and certainly is something that it's better to step back and kind of appreciate there is a process to this as this flour unfolds, as the cooking happens. In the case of a cake, right? What cookies? It seems like always to me, when things get within about 5 minutes of being done, that's when the smell is the heaviest, right? It's like right there at that end, and you just smell it. Cookies are the same way. Like, oh yeah, and they're almost ready. It's the same thing. Our food is becoming ready. We'll know it's happening. We'll appreciate the process of the cooking and then the taste of the warm, yummy food. I mean, it's, again, when we can step back from it for a second and allow things to unfold rather than question every single day. Is it happening? Isn't it happening? Is it happening? I don't know if it's happening. It's not happening. It's not happening fast enough. Stop. You set the timer, whatever. And again, I'm not into like setting a deadline. You can. I just don't like them. They don't usually work. But I mean, again, the concept is it's being done. You've combined the ingredients. You set it to the universe. You've shoved it in the imaginary oven, if you will. And at some point, the ding in your life will happen, or the ding, and I've got to go react, I got to flip the meat, and then give it a little more time, it'll happen. Wait for the ding to happen, but the ding's going to happen. Anytime you've got to react, pay attention to the ding, right? Maybe it's, you got to flip your meat. I mean, to use a horrible analogy, maybe you're going to be adding more meat, right? At some point, like, oh, more people showed up. I need to cook more meat. So if it's more fresh meat, maybe you're making carne asada, which sounds really good. I'm making my own self hungry. Laying that on the thing, and you know what? And you're going to set your timer, and in 4 minutes, you're going to have to ding that over. So, again, you might hear multiple dings through your process, but you're going to cook a beautiful meal. And it's happening right now. I hope that makes a difference. All right, let's open up for some questions for people out there. Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly say hi and stuff. I try to do this a little different so it starts faster, but we got Simply Perfect. We got Nicole's in here, Jesse, Maria Panullo. Panullo? I don't know. Shakid, Angelica, lots of people going on. Of course, Lisa Maria, that's so awesome to see you. Neville, we got Neville here. Thank you, Neville, for joining us. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Neville's come back from the dead, and he has joined us in our show. So that is fantabulous. Ethereal Goddess, Paid Hobo 97, good for you. Robbie T, a lot of good people in here, man. All right, so let's get to some questions. Let's see what's going on. I'm just going to start, see if I've missed something already. You guys can re-ask it, yeah, I'm just going to try to find out what I got, man. So catch up to you guys. Here's a question from Limo, I think. What should I do, or what does it mean when people around me are getting my manifestations? So Limo, what that usually means is they call it, Anya's is someone, I don't know if a bunch of you guys know her, but Anya's is a good friend of mine. Certainly someone that's a significant creator in this world. She calls it birds before land. I don't know where she's got it from, but it's the concept of when you get close to the thing that you're manifesting, people around you will start to get it as well. It'll start to become prevalent. What you have to understand is your world is you pushed out, which really is what Goddard says, and I believe that 100%. So what that means is as you are creating this in your life, as your food is cooking in the oven, it's going to start happening around you. It's going to become part of your world. Like, kind of liken it to, we walk around in bubbles, right? And so people will bounce into our bubbles and they'll represent what it is that we're energetically projecting out. It's a very good sign when it happens. So that is outstanding. So good for you, by the way. That means you're probably very close. Andrea Desi, in case of SP, the waiting time of manifestation is set even by the SP, because what if they're not ready for you, or maybe they have to go through some growth? I think it is not all about us. I agree. One thing I want to offer to you, Andrea, is time is something that's a little funny, right? We all experience time in our own ways. So you are, yes, 100% correct in that the other people have their own growth and development and evolution, and that is happening simultaneously with us. Now, the timing, generally speaking, is 100% based off of where we're at with it consciously, 100%. And the way that plays out, think about it from this standpoint. How many times have you ever been someplace really, really cool, someplace fun? You were dancing with the friends, or you were at a party, or you're someplace awesome, church, whatever your thing is, right? Like you were at someplace awesome and the time just went by like that. An hour was like, it was over already. Oh my gosh. And then how many times have you had to wait 5 minutes and it felt like an eternity? Time is a weird thing. The way we experience moments, I think, at least my understanding, are something that seem to be able, like you can shuffle the deck a little more slowly or really fast. And I think it depends on where we all are, but ultimately we always meet in the place at the same exact moment. And that time is usually determined by us. And but I agree with you, you're right. But again, I think time is a weird thing, and it doesn't happen the same to them as it does to us. And so our linear time or our linear experience is really up to us. And they are just something that's like, they'll be here when we're ready. And a lot of the times that's kind of how that plays out. Time is a weird thing. It's fun though. But good on you. It's a great question. Let's see here. Jesse Swanson, it's, linear timeline. I don't know what you're saying. A lot of times people think of time like this, like horizontal. And I mean, maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, Jesse, but this is how I've understood it. A lot of people think of it horizontally. It's really vertical. It's already happened, and we're kind of stepping through moments. Like Anyway, all time has already happened from the higher dimensional, outside of time dimension standpoint. Anyway, you're on it. It's fun stuff, and this is just me being a geek. I really love that. I took a lot of physics classes, and anyway, I was a total geek. Okay, Stow Week. How you doing, buddy? Yesterday I woke up in the evening after a nap, and for some reason thought my SP texted me, and I replied with certain sticker, manifested 10 minutes later. It is a lot of the times that belief, right? Like, I think that's it, and maybe it really happened, or who knows, right? Like the chicken or the egg, or who knows? I mean, really, those are fun examples. I've had stuff like that happen to me too. And I wonder after, it's like, was I connecting with them? Was I experiencing it while it happened? Was I feeling them thinking about me, right? Any number of things. And I really think that's more on the thought transmission side. And a lot of people are like, how would I know if they're thinking of me? That's an example, Stoic. That's like, that's kind of when you know, right? You have those moments and you'll feel them beforehand. You're like, what? And then, and you're like, that was you. I know it was. I know that was you. Sneaky Sneakerton. So anyway, that's what I think about all that nonsense. Nicole, what's your go-to method for talking to the universe? I just talk. I know it hears me. I don't question. I think that's one of the hard parts for a lot of people is the questioning. Like, I know it hears me, and really it's kind of a funny way. I was thinking about last night, actually. I was having a very cool experience. I kind of almost think it's just all us, really. Like, it's my higher self, but I don't know. I'm having fun with this from a larger perspective and really trying to understand the bigger picture dimensionally, especially. Anyway, it's just crazy, but it's fun. It's something I enjoy thinking about, and had a pretty cool experience last night that was in line with that. So yeah. Maria Panulo. It's just two L's. I assume it's a Panulo. Should you work on one manifestation at a time, or maybe have a few things going to help the letting go process? I like to stay busy. I'm someone that likes to manifest stuff, like all sorts of stuff. I got all sorts of stuff in the fire, and I'm not really in a hurry on any of it. Like, again, if you enjoy the process, if you enjoy the unfolding, if you enjoy the allowing, like the fact that, oh yeah, I can smell the food. Like it changes the game completely, I think. I mean, truly, if there was any advice I would give to anybody, it would be learn to enjoy the process. It's night and day. But that being said, I like having a lot of stuff going on. That's me personally. Some people feel it's faster to work on one thing at a time. Certainly a lot of literature suggests that. And I would say from experience, probably, there's been times I've been very, very single-threaded, if you will, very single-focused, and definitely created things quickly and then started spreading it out. So it depends where you're at in your game. So yeah, there you go. I hope that helps. Vertical. Cool. Yes. Nice. Jesse, thank you. I'm glad we're on the same page with the time thing, by the way. Thank you, Endeavor. I hope I'm saying that right. Okay, but how would you connect law to manifesting? Really, when you kind of think of it from a law of one standpoint, if that's what you're bringing up, and that's awesome that you're both places. Law of one, it's like this is our little universe in Law of One, and it's our place to teach, learn, teach. We interact and co-create with others. There's other souls kind of bouncing around. It's like we're all a bunch of moths, right, flying around at night, and occasionally we find a porch light together, and we co-create, and we have a cool experience, and then we may stay on that porch light together forever until we die. We may decide to fly away. We may just spend the night there. Any number of things happen. It's our decision to do, but we might go and search another porch light. And so, yeah, life is very much along the lines of Law of One's fun. For those of you guys, I'll try to leave a link to. It's on the Fringe. I don't know. I'll see if I can find a link. I'll give it a go while I'm literally doing a show live. And how fun that's going to be. So yeah, it's a great practice to try to get into kind of paying attention to how Law of One works. And there it is. Cool. Nice. That worked out well. And here's a link if any of you guys want to check out the channel. Certainly could use some subs, by the way. It's just a different channel. It's different than the material. There's a reason I separated the two. This gets off into some crazier stuff. I actually have another cool, kind of really deeper soul type, dimensional type stuff that I talk about there. But yeah, Law of Ra or Law of One is amazing material. It's channeled material. It was done under very serious scrutiny. and with people that were kind of really serious about figuring out some stuff. It's very powerful. The LLE research group, there was 3 people, Carla and I forget the 2 dudes' names. Again, it's fascinating material. Some would suggest, and I would agree, it's probably some of the most accurate channeled information out there. Yeah, so that being said, I think Jane Roberts pops into my head too, someone that I thought was pretty freaking awesome. So yeah, that all being said, I don't know how. Well, I don't know. So, Bonjour from Cyprus. I wish you a wonderful day. Since things have been moving, more puzzle. Be cool. This is Stephanie. I don't remember which email exactly because we all use different names, but it's cool. That is fan-freaking-tastic. Augustin Jr. Villa Gomez. Love you, buddy. You are actually just really an awesome person. Actually, I'm going to do the wild dreams right before you. Hang on. I've been having great dreams recently, too. I used to have more unsettling dreams, and now the last few weeks, I've been having amazing, vivid dreams. I intended for this to happen. It's not just that. It also represents that you're starting to let go of some of the psychological, you're shedding some blah, and you're energetically moving up and forward. So a lot of the times when you start getting a little more of a calmness in your dreams, you're losing stress, you're resolving internal dilemmas in your life. And so dilemmas in our life will manifest in a number of ways to try to get our attention. And if we're not paying attention, sometimes they'll get a little more crazy and actually manifest dreams, and right? So we'll have all sorts of people literally walk up and be like, dude, you were just so negative, right? And you'll be like, no way, that's not cool. So, cool. All right, Mr. Villa Gomez. What is your daily routine? I go into a no-thought meditation before and after bed, but I work on imagination before going into my no-thought. Yeah, so I do daily no-thought meditation too. Basically just focus on breathing. For people who are like, what's no-thought? Focus on breathing. Thoughts that happen, they're going to happen. It's great. You let them pass. You don't hold on to them. You don't get stuck on them. You're like, oh, laundry, I got to go to this. Like, here's an example. Like, I'm focusing on breathing. I'm like, oh, I got to go to the store. Now, that's okay that you had a thought of, I got to go to the store. Don't worry about it. And you might even go so far as, I think I need tomatoes. You're like, whoa. Focus on breathing. Get yourself back to breathing in the nose, out the mouth. But it's okay. You let it pass, and you don't focus on it. And what that does is that helps release, like the dream thing we were talking about. It helps release a lot of that stuff. Now, from that standpoint, when you come out of that, that's a really pure place to be. Or when you at least go to a no-thought meditation for a period of time and then go into a thought meditation or an intentional meditation, I think that's a really good way to go about it because it starts you off on a clean slate, if you will. It's like walking up to a chalkboard or a whiteboard, right, or an eraser, right, and dry eraser, and erase it all off, right, and you got it all clean. Now go ahead and write on what it is. And I think it's kind of a cool way. You wipe the slate, and then you repaint the day, if you will. So I think that's a great way to go about it. It's what I do, too. As far as manifesting, I really think it's more of a consciousness thing, and that's kind of been the thing I've been playing with lately for me, is expanding the level of seeing what's around me. Like, for me, it's trying to grow the square footage, if you will, that I see around me. It's envisioning that house, which I can totally see the house that I'm going to, right? It's in the oven for sure. And I can see it. I can see everything except like the family room and living room. I kind of can see the living room. The family room part, no. The garage, totally. So like this house is almost complete. Literally got the upstairs done. It's really cool. So that's kind of the type of stuff I do, is I really try to expand and imagine. I imagine the growth, the largeness of, like, again, they say, how would it be if you had your dream already, right? If I was a billionaire already, what would it be like? And so I'm imagining the larger living quarters. I'm imagining the nicer car, the nicer area, the better view. Like all of that stuff is tried to be incorporated. I'm living in that end, if you will. And it's fun. Like, I'm just enjoying it. I'm like, this is going to be really exciting because I'm looking forward to when this lovely thing comes out of the oven, because it's going to be very, very tasty. And a lot of things are coming together. I'm already seeing movement in that direction. And so it helps me a lot. I feel like I spend a lot of time talking about myself, and I don't like that. Okay. Morning, Dan. I missed the beginning. It's okay. You can watch it pretty soon. You can watch it again. You know that. Let's see. Dan, when we consciously manifest good, bad, depending on our frequency, we attract good, bad experience. How to know when we manifest or when the universe delivers instead? Okay, there's a few things, Miss Nessa. Okay, good and bad is something that's relative to us. And I think a lot of the times people look at situations and decide that it's good or bad. When in reality, what does it cause? So a bad thing, for example, is, maybe someone's, I don't want to use that. I don't know, something bad happens a lot of the times. Okay, I'll use an example I had. I got laid off from a job one time. It was like, oh no, my life's falling apart. So instantly I'm like, all right, I got to get a job. I got to make something happen, right? Get resume buffed up, hit it out to a few places, right? Get whatever. Got an interview, got things moving, ended up at an awesome job. It actually led me into coding. It actually led me into the position I'm at now, which is significantly cooler, right? So it led me to this wonderful place that I get to be. So when I look back at the laid off, which I thought at the time was bad, but I realized going through it that no, this is good. It's just forcing me to make a change. So a lot of us see things and label it. Everything is what it is. And to your last question, you manifest 100% of everything. It's not the universe deciding for you. The universe doesn't care. Universe just gives you what you ask for. So it's 100% your manifestation. It is not the universe at all. The universe doesn't care. Universe is a mechanism. Universe is like the board game of life, right? There you move the pieces around, or Monopoly, right? You move the pieces around on the board, but the board itself doesn't really matter. It doesn't do anything. It's just it's a mechanism. That's all. So it's a great question, though. I love it. Okay, how can I access? Okay, so the sunshine fee. How can I access the feeling of being secure in life, in finance, and in love? So think about, like, if you had all the money you wanted. I don't know, say you won the lottery, which is what a lot of people like to do. So imagine that you instantly have, let's say, $100 million after taxes, right? You won 200 million, and after taxes, you get 100 million free and clear. All right, maybe it's 80 million, whatever. But let's make it 100 because it's easy numbers, right? I don't want to screw around with $20 million, whatever. What does that feel like? What do you do? What changes in your life? I mean, obviously, if you're living in an apartment right now, I'm not saying you are, but maybe, right? You're not going to keep living in an apartment. What would you do? If you had $100 million, and it wouldn't be like, I'd buy a house for all my friends. That's not really what the universe is interested in. It's more interested in, like, are you going to turn it into a business that you can then employ a bunch of people and help generate some amazing product, or help clean the ocean, or help, right? Like, it's all about helping, yeah, but buying 3, 4, 5 friends' houses isn't necessarily a big grandeur kind of thing with $80 million, $100 million. So what would you do? What would you do with that? How would you feel? You'd be what, on the board of certain things now? Or would you maybe be going into some warehouse and making sure people are doing stuff? Or what are you doing? Like, are you trying to maybe buy stock? I don't know. Like, expand it into that thinking. That's what I was talking about with the consciousness. Like, trying to put yourself in that level of thinking. What would I do if I had this? If I already had $100 million, how would my life be? How would I feel? I'd obviously walk around with this level of pride, like you said, security. I'd walk into places and be like, I buy whatever I want. I don't care what it costs. I would never ask what something costs, ever. Why would you? You could go buy a car and you wouldn't ask what it costs because you got $100 million. What's 40,000, 50,000, 100,000? You wouldn't ask. Now, granted, that's if you're not creating more wealth. If you haven't figured out a way to kind of cycle it, because it's one thing to get a big gob of money, but really everything's a flow. So a lot of people, give it away, do silly things, invest in stupid stuff, end up broke, bankrupt, because they don't know how to be wealthy. They don't know how to get their consciousness. To get the consciousness, you walk around, you feel like you are already wealthy. You realize that the universe is going to give you whatever you want, and that your answers are coming. Mailbox money is one thing a friend of mine used to call it, and it's awesome. Like, that can happen, right? You can get checks in the mail for whatever. I've been in all sorts of different lawsuit things that I was somehow in. One of the ones with lots of people, I can't remember the word. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And I get a check in the mail. It's like, what's this $45 for? No, granted, it's not huge, but it's still fun to get free money in the mail, if you will. Hopefully it helps. Talked a long time, I know. There you go. So I hope that, I do hope that helped. Miss Nessa, you got a lot. As we say, it delivers once we are ready to receive. I guess when it materializes, it's because we're meant to experience it. What do you think? meant to places it outside of you. You don't understand that you experience it once you're ready. You're putting it outside of yourself. Once it's ready to be there. It's like, I get it, because the cooking, it's happening, right? And really, that's just an issue of you combining the ingredients relative to the time it takes for this thing to, cook, and then it'll be there. And so whatever that is, but it's your creation. You've created this. It's being brought into your world. You're creating a relationship with someone that's like, yeah, no, I'm happy to play that part. You're not asking me to do anything I'm not okay with. So yeah, I would love to play this out with you. That's fantastic. Why not? Kind of helps. It's your technique, your life. I do the mirror technique every morning, and I feel confident. You're freaking right, Dark Knight. You're red. That's cool. All right, Abe's 150. Nice to see you, buddy. Life is but a dream. Dun, 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 dun. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. I think walking life is just another layer of the dream. Yeah, I guess, but like, is there a point to the dream? I mean, the way you ask it, Abe 150, I mean, I agree with you, and it's kind of cool and deep and all that, but is there a point to the dream then? God, that's kind of where I've been with it. It's a layer, for sure, and it's not real, but there's a point to it. I don't know. To me, dreams are kind of something that are symbolic or helpful, but really represent this off time, which is unique, I know, of itself. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, sorry. Stoic Soul, is visualization really the best way to imagine? For non-visual people, no. I mean, I don't know. Imagine's a weird word, right? When you tie it in with visualization. Imagining is just however it works for you to be able to try to experience something or feel it. If you're incapable of feeling, I mean, I don't know. Like that, again, I've heard and I've seen a lot of coaches that are out there, or law of attraction people, say that you don't have to imagine. And I don't necessarily think you do. But I think the feeling, honestly, I think the feeling is the important part. And if you can't feel, then I'm kind of wondering, I don't know, creates a whole lot of other questions, like if we're gonna be hyperbolic, right? Because not being able to feel at all can happen for sure, but it's a pretty small percentage of people. But that being said, I don't know. It's a tough question you're asking. Yeah, I think writing kind of forces you into sort of an imagining. I don't know if you can do that. Like, I'd be curious if that works for you, but I would consider that still imagining. Speaking, that's still imagining, because it's just stream of consciousness, and then you listen to it later. I think there's a lot of ways around not being able to just visualize. I can't draw. I can't see pictures clear enough in my mind, but I can imagine being in a room. I can imagine driving a car. So I don't know. I don't know what that means, right? Like, I can't relate. I can only relate to what I know. But hopefully that helps. I don't know. Danny R., this morning I woke up to a random refund from Amazon. There you go. Because the price of what I recently bought went down within 30 days of my purchase. Boom. Mailbox money. Love it. Pretty X, soon if I had $1 million, I'd disappear into a forest, live in a little log cabin, and make pancakes. Well, it sounds like you don't really need $100 million then. You could probably get by on way less than that. That is fantabulous. Marianne T., finding that monitoring my thoughts is exhausting. Then if a neg thought pops into my head contrary to desire, I feel like I'm going backwards and have to start all over again. How do I get past this? Monitoring your thoughts is the whole key. So I don't know. I guess when you say, like, example, and there's other ways to do this, but I'm going to keep it simple. But like, I need to get I want to look more tone, right? So I should get into a fitness routine. But I want to get more tone, but I don't actually want to do anything. How can I do that? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Someone out there, if you can manifest that some way, like, part of the process is doing the exercise when it comes to looking tone. That's part of why you do it, or at least someone that spends time with it. So really the whole point of law of attraction, at least from my standpoint, is helping people realize that what they focus on matters. Period. End of story. You get what you focus on. So if you don't want to worry about what you're focusing on, but still want to somehow manifest things, I don't think you can. But maybe that's just my negative belief. I don't know. Apologize, but I'm sure that's not the answer you wanted. But I don't know how to. Lonnie Gillard. Everything is already created. It's about matching the frequency of what you desire. That is very, very true. The Stillski 24. I recently went on a good date and we talked a lot, but I'm scared I'm going to ruin it because I've never had a dating situation so clear before. So that's kind of an example where people say self-love or self-worth. Like, you have doubts because you figure you always screw it up, or it's too good. How can it be this good? It can't be possible. Like, I don't know. Sometimes when you meet a soulmate, it's pretty magical, man. No reason to question it. Just experience it because it's amazing. So I would say let go a little bit more, and you might be pretty excited about the ride that you're about to undergo, Mr. Stilinski 24. I think I did it better that time. Lisa Marie, I think if people just understood that joy is the natural state, and if you can get that, you'll get everything. So true. Lisa Marie is not just a great moderator, it seems, but also just really knows this stuff backwards and forwards. So yeah, good on you. You're 100% correct, I think. I 100% agree with you. How about that? Okay, the Sunshine Fee, I'm practicing feeling loved. Only men that approach me are either married or don't want a real relationship. How can I change things up to attract real love? So you probably have a component within yourself that you're not really approachable. You've got some sort of shield up, is my guess. Got hurt one time. And so because of that, you're not really open to emotionally connecting or really connecting with someone. And because of that, you keep attracting people that aren't really able to connect with you. So it's actually a reflection of you and where you're at in things. So if you'd like to change it, you change inside. That's what Goddard talks about for sure. But it's really realizing that, wow, I don't think I'm open to a relationship. Maybe I need to look at that. And then start to think about, whoa, what it is, why is it, what is it, am I hurt? Is it because I'm afraid, well, if I got hurt one time, then I don't want to let anybody ever touch me, because of that one time. Well, you're not going to be able to love again. Like, love is letting go. Love is feeling free. Love is, taking your clothes off. It's literally being naked in front of someone, not necessarily just literally, but emotionally naked, right? Like, it's being vulnerable. And if you can't be vulnerable, it's really hard to love. Hopefully that helps. Beatriz Moreno. It's the brown Beatrice, I guess, right? I happen to manifest my imaginal acts very accurately, just not with the people that I intend things to happen with. That's awesome. Any clue why this is? I somehow get things and experience, but still. There's a lot that can go into it. Kind of look at where you're coming at this from. I mean, could it be that you're asking people to do things that maybe they're not comfortable with? Like, I'd really like to, go and have this experience with this individual, and that individual's like, I don't want to do that, or I'm not open to that, or I'm not necessarily, right? Like, or maybe they're on another path. I don't know. There's any number of things. So if the experience is important in your development of your soul, if it's important that you do these things that you're experiencing with others, and the person you want to experience it with isn't willing to do it, you'll manifest somebody that is willing to do it because it's important that you do it. Again, the complexities, like I'd have to sit down and ask you a bunch of questions, but there's a few scenarios off the top of my head that kind of can explain why we can get into situations like that. I love when it jumps. John Doe, do you have any suggestion or possibly videos about finding your purpose? That's a great question. I don't believe I have any videos on it. Finding your purpose, that's a tough one. Like, for me, a lot of it came down to really soul searching, looking at what I enjoy, what I naturally gravitate to, how I like to interact with others, like the whole thing. Like, for me, it was that. And then as I started to accept this is what I liked, I started to kind of let go, that life take me to it. Like, I sort of to a degree said, universe, this is the direction I want to go. Help me get there. And, it was a fun path. I will say Celestine Prophecies is probably one book, the first book for sure. And then I would even read the next 2 or 3. There's 3 books, I think, total, or 4 or whatever. Really awesome series. James Redfield's the author. There is a link to James Redfield in the description of the video. But yeah, he's awesome. And that actually, I think, kind of helped me really be able to see the path, or to highlight the hidden path, if you will. And I think that's kind of a fun way to look at it, but it's kind of how it was for me. Like, where do I go? This is what I want to do, and this is what I think I'm here to do, and how I'm here to experience, and these are the things I'm naturally gifted with, or whatever. Like, how do I make this work for me? And I, just started pursuing. And really, for me, the biggest thing is let go, like literally letting go. So many of us are holding on for dear life, and you just got to let go. And when you do, again, it's a little freaky at first. You tumble a little, but eventually you go into the flow, and just everything just starts to happen. You're in the vortex, whatever. Like, there's so many different analogies people have written about how it feels. It's fantastic. Derek Martis, I like Neville's team. Plant the seed and then wait. It'll never be late. Yeah, you're right. I mean, a seed takes as long as it takes to grow. Again, I think we've got so many examples in life that have been provided to us by the creator source ourselves, frankly. I mean, we created the universe we live in, so it's us. But we've given ourselves a lot of clues that things take time. Hello, right? And then you got other people telling you, hey, if you put something in the oven, it takes 30 minutes. You can't make it go faster. You can't make it 15. If you turn it up even hotter, you just cook the outside faster, but the inside doesn't, right? Like, you can't cheat it. It's got to happen the way it happens. Star Carl, very kind of cool, rhymey sort of thing. Can you explain the feeling of naturalness? What does it mean? So when you think about something and you get into that feeling of the wish fulfilled, one, does it feel oddly foreign? I just recently did a video about this. But the analogy I used at the time, and I still think it's a good one, is like a new pair of shoes, right? You put on a new pair of shoes, and at first it feels kind of weird. So a lot of the times when we're imagining what we want and we're feeling how it feels good at the moment. But then we stop, doing the exercise or whatever, and we kind of go back to our normal lives, and we begin to kind of fall back to our normal acceptance of the way things are, our normal pattern. They're not here. This is where I live. This is the car I drive, right? Like we just start to fall back into that feeling. And what that's like, you put on that new pair of shoes and you're walking around, you're like, oh, they're just not comfortable. Well, you got to break them in. Yeah, but I don't want to. So we put back our old shoes on. And so that's what naturalness is. You put the old shoes on because they feel natural, but you're trying to manifest the new shoes. That's what you're trying to create, but it doesn't feel natural. So what you got to do is you got to spend more time in it until it feels natural, until the shoe breaks in. Then that new pair of shoes not only look awesome, but they feel awesome. Then you're natural in your new state. It's about the best analogy I can make. Predict soon. Dan, is it okay to love someone? You better love somebody and would love to be with them. Is it okay to love someone and would love to be with them, but at the same time, kind of wish you never met them? Any tips on those icky feelings? So yeah, what that does is that you're in a, wow. Honestly, first thing that pops out, and I hope you're okay with this, self-love. I think you're in a transition. I think you attracted somebody that wasn't your equal and you weren't ready. Someone that wasn't your equal because you still had some growth to do, some self-love to do, and you're going through that and you're starting to realize that you deserve better, deserve more, deserve somebody that actually loves you and appreciates you and blah, blah, blah. And so because of that, you're starting to peel away from it. But you've got this mental attachment to them, kind of like the stickiness of peanut butter and jelly, right? And then you got to pull the bread apart, but it's sticky, so it's hard to. You've got this sticky attraction to them, like, I love them, I've spent so much time, I've invested all this effort, I don't want to walk away from it, but at the same time, you're like, but I'm tired of it. And a lot of the times when you get to that place, it's a good time to kind of detach, let go, see what happens, but certainly consider the idea that maybe it's really love that matters in your life, not necessarily this person, and maybe enough distance and time has happened between you and the wounds that caused you to want them back so much, or to allow yourself to be abused or taken advantage of, or just not properly loved or disrespected or yelled at or whatever. Like whatever was not working in the relationship because it broke up maybe. I don't know. But yeah, again, I feel like I'm going off on a random thing. I hope that helps. Dark Knight, a few weeks back, I was thinking about iPhone 11, and yesterday Uncle bought me an iPhone 11. Well, that's pretty rad. Good for you, buddy. Abe's 150. Took me 2 painful years of rejecting negative thoughts before they stopped. It's hard as changing your body at the gym, but work with the gym. I agree. It's just practice. And Abe, I hope I'm not, I don't like the word rejecting. So that's the only part of this I'm going to call out. And it's not on you. I think you mean it in the right way. Just don't get me wrong. But I just want to point out to people that you don't really reject them. You kind of accept the fact that negative thoughts happen. You don't hold on to them. Again, it's like that meditating, no thought meditating we were talking about earlier for those of you that were here. But when you meditate, you try to let thoughts pass through your head, right? It's that no thought concept. So the negative thought happens. It's contrast. It's okay. It's okay. Now, let it go. Just let it go and focus back on the thing that you do want to experience. Now, if you have negative thoughts frequently, that's kind of when you're like, all right, why does this keep popping up? That's not what I want. And so there's something going on inside of you. There's a consciousness issue, if you will, going on inside that's causing this fear to pop up, this thing to pop up. And that's when you kind of try to dig into the soil a little bit and figure out what the heck is going on in my little feelings to figure out, so I can stop doing this or stop having these negative thoughts pop into my head. And basically, Apes, to me, it sounds like you've really gotten kind of in line, or what I'd call getting your chakras in line. A lot of things going on good for you. So good for you, man. Arlen and I try so hard to say names. Anirla. Not even close. I can't seem to be in the mindset of abundance to manifest money. Every time I make money, a bill or event comes, I have to spend it. How do I change this? I bastardized reading that, and I'm sorry, but basically, she's having a hard time with abundance thinking, and every time she sees a bill, she's like, And so the problem is the bill is actually significant, and you need to love the bill. Learn to love the bill. I actually got on my checks a little smiley face, and then something like, I don't know, some stupid little phrase that's kind of like, hey, here, enjoy, have a good day. I think it's have a good day, something like that. But you have to look at the bills as a good thing. Money's a flow. Income's a flow. That's how the universe works, and they want you to flow it. So you understand, every time you write a bill to a company, you're helping families. People's paychecks, people's livelihoods are actually being affected. And that's really awesome. When you think about, that's what I'm playing a part in. Now, yes, there's a corporate side to it, but that corporate side's still paying people. You're still putting food on the table for families, right? You're still making a difference. Learning to see the bill as evidence that flow is coming. You don't get bills, if you will, unless you're okay paying it. Now, a lot of the time, something random will pop up, but then you randomly manifest money. You're in the right process. Keep flowing. Yeah, you're doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Allow it to happen. What you do is you put on the brakes every time you go, a bill. Oh, no. Go, yeah, sweet. Means more's coming. More's coming. And it's all about creating a larger flow. And then eventually you'll have like a month where something weird didn't come up, and all of a sudden you got an extra $500-600. And you're like, whoa, not used to this. This is awesome. So allowing it to flow is a really big deal. And a lot of us are very one-sided. We want to hoard it. We want a big pile of money in my hand. And it's like, ha. It's like, all right, but it's just a bunch of paper, like, or cloth or whatever the hell, right? Like, all right, now what? What are you going to do with it? That's the point. Money should be done with. It's not something in and of itself. It's an object that's basically valueless other than someone will give you something for it. That's the thing of value, is what they're giving you. The stacks of money is just what they want, or whatever. Hope that helps. Crazy how 2 years seem to go by fast. Yeah. Oh, you're talking to someone else, I hope. I was like, have we been on for 2 years? Oh my God, I got to stop talking. Kara M, Lisa Marie, questions, that's good. Hey, Dan. Awesome, Tina. Hey, Tina, nice to see you. Tina Monic, very cool. Courtney Gilmore, embody the state of who you want to be. Fit. I think when it comes to muscular, right? And you'll be drawn towards things that get you to where you feel like yeah, exactly. So like when you imagine how you want to be, thin, fit, in love, in a relationship, when you imagine it, it creates a series of steps that begin to unfold that will allow you to get there. Some of these steps require action. I honestly think it's pretty balanced, and it should be. I think, and I know a lot of people disagree, and they think everything should fall in your lap. I totally 100% disagree. It is a balance of doing and receiving, yin and yang, sun and moon. Like, it is a balance. Sometimes maybe a little more receiving, sometimes a little more giving, but you never want to be 100% giving hard, like pushing all the sun energy, and not receiving, and vice versa. Like, there needs to be a balance. So you will have to do things that will go towards your manifestation. I had someone ask me, like, can I learn a language, using law of attraction? It's like, yeah, you're not like, I asked her, I'm like by osmosis, like while you sleep? And she's like, no. I'm like, yeah, you can totally use law of attraction to help open up doorways for the quickest way to learn a language. Like, there's a lot of different programs out there and that work, right? So again, it's just that kind of thing. You can use law of attraction to open up a doorway. Can I use law of attraction to just learn a language overnight? I don't know. I wouldn't try. I mean, I would use law of attraction to learn the language. That's how it works. I'm so old-fashioned. I know. Mega Devaraju. What qualify as signs? See double-digit synchronicities, and I feel better, but they aren't out of ordinary, right? So what you're talking about, and I love these. I still see number signs all the time. I love them. For me, it just indicates that universe is talking to me, man. Like I'm projecting little signs like the Matrix, right? I see a little something in the Matrix and it catches my attention. The black cat walks by. It's like, oh, look at that. Hey, black cat went by twice. Oh, no, something changed in the Matrix, right? It's that thing that gives you evidence that you're on the right track or that the universe is talking to you, that you can actually get messages to yourself from yourself, be it bouncing it off of other people or on a license plate or on a billboard, on a magazine article. There's a lot of really cool places. The next song you hear on the radio, a lot of really cool places that you can manifest answers. I think those are indications, they're answers, they're signs. I don't know. I mean, signs is like, but I think when we're trying to manifest something in particular and we see evidence of that, not numbers. I've seen a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm trying to manifest my girlfriend and I see 222, so I know that's happening. It's like, no, 222 is just like the universe is saying, hey, pay attention. I'll show you stuff. Watch, right? But eventually, like, you'll see some car with a license plate that'll have part of her name on it. It'll be her favorite color and it'll be her car, right? Like, you'll be like, oh my God, that's her car with her name on it. Okay, that's a sign, right? So, complex answer, simplified, I hope. Anyway, I hope that helps. Let's see here. A lot of us here are thinking about manifesting from a something out there perspective. It is so much easier and faster thinking from it as being the person who is and has it. Yeah, even relationships with other people. As funny as I was analogizing this last night, like it's almost like we're all in our own little worlds and we get visitors from others. They don't generally stay there 100% of our time, right? We have a lot of time that we all spend either alone or with other people that aren't necessarily the ones we love, or, right? It's odd how much time is not spent with the ones we want to spend it with. And it seems like it's weird, is the way we bump into each other. And I feel like people agree to it from a higher self, dimensional, like, yeah, I'll come in and play a part in your movie. No worries. Like whatever you're asking, that's fine. And it doesn't, the dramas can unfold however they want because we've got this whole multi-dimensional aspect of ourselves. I'm really getting into the woods here, the weeds, as they would say. But again, it's not necessarily out there. It comes from inside of us. And these people are happy to play the part, unless, again, we're asking them to do something they're not comfortable with, not okay with. I mean, if we're just asking them to, kill somebody, and that's like, no, I don't want to do that. Or you're asking me to physically harm another human. No, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not personally. Maybe you are, right? But I'm not. So again, there's certain things that some of us aren't willing to do and we're not going to go along with. But for the most part, as long as you're asking for something that's within their wheelhouse or even close, why wouldn't they agree? That's the thing. You're not asking them to do anything or be anything that they aren't okay with doing and being. And that's one thing that Goddard really talks about, and that's pretty cool, I think. Derek Martis, what's a good practice before about to fall asleep? Goddard suggests talking about imagining the thing that you desire. I like that, like spending as much time with it as you can, whatever it is. Like if it's more income, then really planning out your next house, your bigger house. Like what's it kind of like inside? Start to think about the car you're driving. Like do different aspects of that every night, but really imagine all the different components. If you're making an extra 50 G's a year or 100 G's a year, like your life's going to change to some degree, right? Like imagine that, spend time with that. What are some of the things that are going to change? Obviously, you're not going to continue living where you live right now. You're probably going to move if that's significant, or if you've got this love in your life, then spend time thinking about her. All the different places you'd like to go together, that you're looking forward to going together, that you're going to experience with her. And really just enjoy those moments and feel it, and then go to bed with a smile on your face and, a song on your heart. There you go. Okay. I've been watching, all right, John Doe, I've been watching your videos on Neville Goddard and really like your view on these things. New viewer also, awesome. Thank you. Welcome to the family. Yes, I read Celestine Prophecy's great book. Not the other ones, though. All right, well, okay. We can't win them all, John Doe. Try. But those are books I like. That's basically what I'm doing, is just sharing stuff that matters to me. But if you, awesome on it. Hey, Gray, I love this. I'm late. Need to catch up. It's okay. Hey, Gray, welcome. Welcome to the game. Let's see here. I am trying to find some more questions. Okay. Lisa Marie, I recommend the book Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks. Yeah, Esther Hicks is good stuff. I like her a lot. And You Are the Placebo by Joe Dispenza for Health. Very cool. Yeah, and I can't remember the Esther Hicks one. The Vortex one for sure, and then I think there's another one I've read of hers. But anyway, I love Esther Hicks. I've actually listened to. I had a friend that had. She was actually even asked the question a few times, like was the one up to the microphone, but she had like just gobs of discs. So she'd let me borrow like 4 at a time. I've listened to hours and hours and hours of Esther Hicks. I love Esther Hicks. I really love her. And then Goddard, and I got into Goddard pretty heavily, like not that long ago, really, probably back in July or whatever. And man, it's just, very, very cool. And then I've read all sorts of other crazy stuff when I was younger, but it's all coming together, man. It's all coming together. Kara M, I'm going to write all these advice on paper. Thanks, Autumn. Yeah, she's got this. Autumn's rocking it, dude. I love it. Let's see here. I personally do reject them. Where the station goes, I do realize that what you resist persists. And there's a period where it was necessary for me to do it that way first to build a foundation or a strong mind. I love the comment here, Abe's 150. Ultimately, a lot of us, I think, fail until we get tired of failing. And then at some point, we like realize, dude, this is totally me. Like we take total ownership of it. And the second we do, you create a new reality, like almost at that instant. Like the second I'm like, this isn't how I want to do this anymore. I deserve better. I'm going to get better. I have to get better. Like we just make like a declaration. It's weird. It's an energy shift. You go from poor me to F this and take charge mode, and it's awesome. And I think it's powerful. I think when any of us do it, like we all at some point, maybe we're already there. Maybe we haven't quite done it yet. Maybe we're right on the precipice. Maybe we're a long way from it. But the moment you finally, that reality dawns on you, it's profound. I mean, it really is. It's life-changing, and I think that's when a lot of the joy, just so many things start to come together. It's realizing that this is my creation completely. It's not someone else, no one else outside of me. It's not the universe. It's you. It's 100% me. It's 100% us. It's awesome. Autumn Beauty. Distraction also works wonders for negative thoughts. I agree with that too. Yeah, if you're having a hard time getting your mind off of something bad, I like positive things, like music for me. I've talked about taking walks in nature, but again, you can play a video game if you really just want to take your mind off something. It's better than a lot of negative things where, maybe drowning yourself and, drowning your sorrows, if you will. That's not a good habit, but yeah, stuff like that's a great thing. Just stay busy. It's what I've done every time. Like, when I quit smoking cigarettes, it was the same thing. It was like, just stay busy, stay busy. The first day was like, stay busy, stay busy. And I stayed really busy. And I went to bed really early. And then I made it to day 2. And day 2 was so much easier. So, anywho. Derek, I always see 222. 222 is a good one. I do. There's an angel numbers thing. You can look it up online. But they're really awesome too. It's a great place. I guess I could try to pull that up. I have a link on that one. But yeah, angel numbers, it's just where I go. You don't have to. I don't know this person. I'm assuming she's British, but whatever the case is, I've used this for all sorts of research for numbers. Like when I see repeating patterns, it even works for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, or just all sorts of crazy patterns. It's pretty cool. Repeatings, the whole 9 yards. I feel like I lost where I was. That's excellent. Love when that happens. I have not listened to William Blake, Big Country's Pound Cake. Welcome, refreshingly so. Hello, Mr. Pincock. Nice to see you. See if we can find some questions in here, guys. Raja, thank you as well. Same color, cool. You like that? Let's see. May, just for fun, I randomly decided to manifest receiving lots of Christmas presents, and I've gotten 4 so far, and one of them was major and something I wanted for years. There you go. See, that's all you do, and it's just, again, you did it randomly. You're just like, nah, try something that doesn't matter. That's why I always talk about the basics. Like, start small. Start with things that don't matter, and you'll find it's like they are easy to manifest because they don't matter. And the second it matters is the second we separate ourselves. The second it matters is the second we put on the brand new pair of shoes and they feel weird. Like, now it matters. Now it's this weird reality that I'm not natural with. And because of that, we have a hard time getting it. So it's beautiful how it all plays out. Love it, love it, love it. Dark Knight, does karma affect manifestation process? It affects our lives. And from what I understand, by the way, and this is just my understanding of things now, karma's pretty much paid back almost immediately. It used to be kind of written to the Akashic records, and and you would pay it off over lifetimes. But since we're at the end of a cycle and a harvest is coming, a lot of that stuff is karma's instant. So you screw up, you're seeing it experienced pretty quickly. So from that standpoint, yeah, that'll affect what you experience, but it's more what you experience, not necessarily your manifestation. Again, if you've been mean to somebody, that can be a part. Ho'oponopono, good one. Forgiveness, right? Work on that. And then astral letters, you can search on my channel. It's another really, really good technique to help kind of get forgiveness going on. I'm not sure where you're going. Abe's take off, man. I have a good one. I don't know if you're probably already gone, but that's cool. Sharon, I heard somewhere after having a negative thought, you ask to be in grace, not in law. Okay. I always say a bless, release, and erase. I think anything that works to you to be able to allow you to undo what you just did. But for me, if I say something bad, like I hate those kinds of people, I'll be like, oh, I bless, release, and erase. I hate those kinds of people. That's not cool, not all right. And so there, it kind of helps me. And it does definitely remove it. You're literally consciously saying, whoa, take back. So, and again, it's control of our thoughts, and it's realizing as you start taking back stuff, you're consciously taking ownership of what you're sending out. That's the whole point of all this wonderful, wonderful stuff. Mercedes Love, I would hope to think you've missed something. We're an hour and 7 minutes into this, but who knows? Who knows? You can rewatch it, of course. Kimmy Nelly, what do you think about affirmation audios that are read by other people? Do you think they're effective, and is there a better option? Yes, record your own. I don't like subliminal stuff that's done by other people. I am very against that. Very against it. Just hands down, very against it. Even if their intentions are good, it's great, but it should come from you. It's your subliminal. It's your subconscious. It's your creation. It's you. You shouldn't put that out on someone else to do for us. Again, taking ownership, I think, is one of the big keys to making the changes in our life that many of us are trying to do. Jim G, can I manifest a text from an ex who I haven't seen since May? I don't know if she's involved with another or not. Well, I wouldn't worry about the last part of that question, but I get where your mind's at. Yeah, absolutely. I even did a text or a video recently on text. Just type text in my YouTube video search, and you'll see the video I did on it. But yeah, you can totally manifest a text message. Imagine what it feels like. Imagine how it feels. It's super short. It's like not even 2.5 minutes. Believe it or not, me doing a 2.5 minute video. It was the biggest comment I got from most people was, "Holy crap, this is short." Wow, Dan, huh? Stoic, what are your favorite foods, Dan? Oh boy, I would say probably it's gonna be I love Asian food, like Chinese, Japanese, Taiwan, Vietnamese. I love Asian food. Love Italian food. Man, I love a lot of things. Something like fish. I'm not big shellfish, which is weird. It's like the bugs of the sea, but whatever. I like that, but I'm not real fond of the fish with the heads and eyes or heads. Well, okay, no, not swimmy fish. Anyway, whatever. They're fishy. I don't like them. I don't know. Well, a lot of stuff. Yeah, there you go. I don't eat a lot of sweets typically. Sometimes I do. Okay, Nicole, an amazing scene of someone being fed up and making a change in Scarlet and Gone with the Wind after devouring an old foraged potato. She swears, as God is my witness, I will never be hungry again. Yeah, it's true. When we make declarations like that, I've done that before, like this has to change, and like literally seen things in my life change like almost overnight. In fact, in a lot of cases even have been literally overnight. It's that literally like this has to change. This can't stay like it is. And again, it's when we finally realize, man, this is my life, or at least I'm making the call, and that call is going to be heard, and we know it. So yeah, let's see. I say no thanks. That's not for me. No to negative thoughts. That's a cool way to look at it, Stoic. Kara, sure, you got a question? I'll see where I find you again. God, He lives in you. He is us. We are Him. Jason Pincock, sorry. God is you, lives in you, is you. Yeah, we are Him. He is us. We are all together. It's a good Beatles song. Let's see. Kara, you didn't ask your question. Okay, well, 5 months. Oh boy, a lot going on here. Okay, let's see. John Doe, Dan, do you have an opinion on the Mandela effect? Yeah, it's interesting. And if so, how may that play a role in all this? Can people change reality that profoundly, or fake government, etc.? All right, I want to give you what I think it's related to. We'll see how this goes. But anyway, what I have looked on this is this project called Project Looking Glass. Gets into people that have done remote viewing, and they've created some really cool technologies where they're able to actually step into time if they have a proper channel individual operating in the chair, from what I understand, even is how it kind of worked out. But what they would do is create the ability to go into futures. And there's been some discussion that there's possibilities that certain changes in the futures have happened, and that's created this Mandela effect because the people were alive prior to the change, remember it being that way, and then the change happens, and then they've got this faint memory of, like, I swear it used to be spelled that way, or this used to be this way, or we used to call it that, or there wasn't an apostrophe, or whatever. And it's just kind of weird. So I don't know. I mean, that's very esoteric, but that's kind of my view of it and sort of what I believe. Certain things they can't do. There's certain major events they can't change. They've tried. I don't know. There's certain protections we have. Some people are guarding us. I don't know. It's an interesting slew of stuff. Probably something I should spend more time talking on my other channel. But that being said, let's see here. Gang, word. Let's see. Let's see. Lisa Marie, I am enough is a great affirmation. Yeah, I guess. Let's see. Desires are just desires. The consequences they bring along are the real deal. Okay, I can live with that. What was it, 14, 24? What's L? I forget L. Anyway, I'm sorry. My Roman numerals are not real strong right now. I think L's 50? No, I don't know. I don't know what the hell it is. I don't remember. How about that? I've done it before. Derek, any idea what meaning of life, so far I understand, is God experiences creation through us? Yeah. I mean, that's probably a good way to go from it. We are God. God's experiencing himself in so, like, if you knew everything and could be everything and were everything and were conscious of everything, you were just everything. There was nothing else other than you. Literally, you would be completely aware of it all. You were the everything. You were the alpha, the omega. It would almost be like lonely to a degree, right? So you would almost want to figure out a way to experience yourself without full knowledge of the big picture. So you would maybe take off, like, a pinky nail, and that would be its own soul, and it would spend its life understanding what it's like to be God's pinky, right? And then you would have maybe a strand of hair, and that person spends its entire creation knowing what it's like to be a strand of God's hair. Kind of a weird way to look at it, but I think it kind of is sort of how we experience life and what it's for. Ultimately, we're all one. Ultimately, we're all light. We're love. We're source. I mean, all that stuff seems to play some music. Thanks, Dark Knight. I will. In fact, since no questions are here, you bring up a good point. We're going to close out, my friends. Guys, it's been awesome. I guess it's not too terribly long. And what I've been doing, too, by the way, is I'll cut up the beginning of this video and turn it into its own separate thing. I've done videos on Everyone Is Us Pushed Out, and definitely, you can do searching on my channel for that. When it comes to Goddard, so far, up to this point, the only quote I've found is "the world is you pushed out." I've not seen where he says everyone is you pushed out. I've been spending a lot of time meditating on that, by the way, lately. I'll definitely do more. Still trying to figure it out, at least to my understanding of it, but I think we're all here to co-create. I don't think people are you, but I do think we project onto people, or they play parts, or we hand them a script of how they're supposed to behave in our play that we're asking them to be a part of. I think it gets more into that, but again, that's a whole show. Thanks, everyone. You have a wonderful weekend as well, and a great week as well. Yeah, thank you. Jesse, thank you. Shanatu, Lisa Marie, always thank you. Mitch, Autumn Beauty, thank you. Dark Knight. Jesse, you guys are the best. Sharon, I love you. Talk to you guys soon. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Dan Radio Style.